Hey everybody, it's PG, Preacher Girl, and I'm here for series 4 of my Speak It. And today I want to talk on the subject of step aside with Jesus. Alright, so I'm going to start with Mark chapter 7, verse 32. Then they brought to him one who was deaf and had an impediment in his speech, and they begged him to put his hand on him. And then he took him aside from the multitude and put his fingers in his ears, and he spat and touched his tongue. So what stood out to me was I began to repeatedly see something that, to me, that I didn't see often in the Bible. In this case, we're used to people bringing the sick and those who need to be healed to Jesus for him to deliver them. But most times Jesus just heals them right then and there. I mean, there's been a few times where where he had people step out of the room, but the instance where the young girl was sick, but the people that was in there, they had no faith, and they were saying, he's saying she's asleep, she's dead. We can understand those instances, but this one, he took him away from the multitude in order to heal him. And what came to my mind after just reading that was, it's not that Jesus could not heal him in front of the multitude. Sometimes God wants to deliver you, he wants to heal you, but he wants some one-on-one time with you. Sometimes God wants to reveal some things to you that previously you wouldn't give him the time or the attention necessary that he required to speak to you. But when we're in a need, when we have a need and we're desperate and we know that God is the only one that can fix it, most times in those situations, more than likely we'll give the Lord our attention, because we'll do whatever it takes to get what we want. And not trying to make it sound negative, but it's the truth. So Jesus takes this man to the side, and he puts his fingers in his ears, and he spit and he touched his tongue. So we know that the man wanted healing. And what Jesus actually did to heal him didn't really seem like that was necessary. He's a son of God. He could have just said, be open, and he would be healed, because that's actually what Jesus did when he healed him. He said, be open, and immediately his tongue was loosed and he spoke plainly. So Jesus took him away from all the other people that he was around, and the method that he used to heal him was something that you wouldn't necessarily think would actually bring forth his deliverance. Someone saying that a lot of times God is trying to do things in our lives, and he's trying to bring forth deliverance, or it's even something that he may just want to give you, but what we want and what God is telling us to do doesn't seem as if they go hand in hand. But not that this man resisted the Lord's healing. He allowed Jesus to put his fingers in his ears and spit and touch his tongue, and he was immediately healed. So, but in saying that, like I say, there's times in our lives where we kind of question whether or not we really want the Lord to do what he's trying to do in our life, because we know what we want and what we want the Lord to do, but in our mind we kind of have our own terms and conditions on the way that we want God to move forward and bringing us to a place of deliverance, setting us free from what we're going through. We kind of expect, well, either he's going to do this or he's going to do that. And God sometimes may draw us to do some things or go some places. It seems like it has nothing to do with what we asked him for. And this isn't necessarily the same as me wanting the Lord to break me from something and he was redirecting my steps. This is just a situation where I actually had the funds. Like some years ago, I wanted to buy a MP3 player, and I had the money to buy it, but I felt God telling me not to do it, and I'm just like, well, why not? I want an MP3 player, got the money to do it, I'm good. Why can't I buy it? And it was just so strong. So I didn't do what he told me to do, not to buy it. I went to the store anyway and was going to buy one, and it's an MP3 player. Who doesn't have one? Like, they didn't even have one at the store I went to, Walmart. And so I'm like, okay, well, forget it. I'll just go down to Best Buy and buy it. And I just felt it really strong, like, don't go buy the MP3 player. And I'm just sitting here like, but it's so simple. I mean, why not? Why? I want an MP3 player. What's wrong with that? And so it was so strong that I was like, okay, you know what? For some reason, the Lord doesn't want me to do it. So I didn't drive down there and get the MP3 player. I mean, it was weird. After a while, I just didn't think much of it. I'm like, okay, I'm not sure why God just didn't want me to do that, but okay, whatever. So maybe a few weeks later went by. My dad actually ended up having 2 brand new MP3 players. One he bought and one was given to him as a gift. So he didn't need 2 of them. He kept the one that was given to him as a gift, and he gave me the one that he had just bought. So in that, I got a brand new MP3 player without even having to pay for it. And I never would have thought that Jesus was telling me not to buy it because he was going to give me one that I didn't have to pay for it. So I said that because a lot of times we don't understand why God is telling us to do things or not to do things. And just like me, I started to do my own things. I'm just thinking, this is innocent. There's nothing wrong with this. It doesn't make sense that you don't want me to do this. Or on the flip side, sometimes God is trying to do some things and that doesn't make sense. Like, okay, Jesus, what are you doing? That's not what I need. I need my light bill paid, and he's telling you to do something else, and it's just like, okay, that's not going to help me. I need to focus on how I'm going to get the money for this. And sometimes we miss our blessings because of that. We miss what the Lord is trying to do in our lives because we're not following him. So what I'm trying to say is, no matter whether it makes sense or not, or whether you can make sense of it, or you understand what the Lord is doing, if God is trying to do something in your life, if he tells you to step aside, if he's trying to lead you somewhere, he's like, I'm going to heal you, but follow me over here first. Like, okay, you can't just heal me right here. Well, I got to leave where I'm at. Follow the Lord. If he tells you to step aside, if he's trying to take you from where you are, go with the Lord. Don't resist it. And whatever he's doing, or whatever steps he takes to bring forth your deliverance or healing or whatever, trust in the Lord. Trust in the plan and the steps that he's taken to bring forth deliverance for you. And then follow his instructions. If God gives you a word, make sure you listen to what he's saying to you. Afterwards, after Jesus healed the man, and actually those who brought him to Jesus, they were with him when he healed him, when he stepped aside from the multitude. He said he commanded them that they should not tell anyone. But the more he commanded them, the more widely they proclaimed it. And they were astonished beyond measure, saying, he had done all things well. He makes both the deaf to hear and the mute to speak. And so it was just like the more he told them not to tell people, the more they actually went and told people. Now, Jesus had a reason as for why he didn't want them to tell the people what he did. But they didn't listen. They did their own thing. They weren't like, well, there's nothing wrong with telling them what he did. I'm going to tell them. Which is similar to what I did. It's like, well, I want an MP3 player. I'm going to get my MP3 player. Why not? I mean, what's wrong with that? But we never know. In this situation, it doesn't tell any further as to why Jesus told them not to. But we never know what we hold back in our lives because of our disobedience, because we're not following the Lord's instructions. We never know what we're missing out on or what complications we face because we didn't do what the Lord told us to do. Or we didn't refrain what the Lord told us to refrain from. And so what I thought was really unique was, so here it is, he's taking this man to the side, from the multitude, and he heals him. But then again, in Mark chapter 8, and starting at verse 22, says, then he came to Bethsaida, and they brought to him a blind man, and begged him to touch him. So he took the man by the hand, and he led him out of the town. And when he had spit on his eyes and put his hands on him, he asked him if he saw anything. So that was funny to me, because here's the first one, he's taking this man to the side. Now here's the second one, where man brought this man to Jesus and, touch him, heal him of give him sight so he can see. But this time, instead of Jesus letting the people come with him, he grabbed the man by the hand and he led him out of the town. So he didn't just step away from the people that he was with. He led him into another city, right? And so that goes again to say, Jesus was trying to take him from where he was at. And I imagine doing that walk where Jesus led him out of the town, out of the place that he was in. I imagine Jesus wasn't silent the whole time. I imagine that Jesus had some words that he wanted to say to him. Sometimes it's something that Jesus wants to reveal to us that he does not want to say in front of everyone else. It's a word that's just for us individually. A rhema word for us and our relationship with him. And we have to be willing to go wherever Jesus is directing us to go. To not be resistant. To not be like, well, I'm comfortable where I am. I want to stay here. I can say that growing up, I was the type of person where I was so close with my sisters that I really didn't like to do anything without them. I was always had to be by their side. And if Jesus or anybody really tried to get me to do something without them, sometimes I would, but more than likely I wouldn't. If my sisters wasn't there, I probably wasn't going to be there. I don't know. We just had a close relationship, and I don't know. For some reason, I just didn't like to really separate myself from them. For some reason, I was just so attached to our sisterhood, I guess. But there was a time where Jesus was even telling me to separate from as much time as I was spending with my sisters, and he was trying to pull me to the side. I was praying for the Lord to do some things in my life and to make some changes, but he was telling me to step aside to do it. I'm just like, hold up. I want you to help me, but I didn't say separate me from, you know what I'm saying, my comfort place, my place of comfort. I want you to help me right here. I don't want to have to do anything different. I don't want to have to change my lifestyle and be by myself so you can help me. And what actually happened was, because I refused to allow Jesus to take me by the side. Here he is, Jesus leading him out of the town. What the Lord did is he actually separated me from them. My sisters became so busy and occupied with their own lives that I had no choice but to be by myself with the Lord. And as much as I didn't like it, I wasn't the type of person that liked to be by myself. I had to be with someone else. If I wasn't with someone else, I had to be doing something. I would leave, or just I had to go somewhere and do something. I did not like being by myself. I don't know why. Okay, so it says what Jesus did was he spit on his eyes and he put his hands on him and he asked him if he saw anything. And so there again, Jesus is doing something that for us wouldn't make any sense. Like, did you have to spit on him? Again, God calls us, and sometimes he'll tell us, again, he'll make us do things that don't make any sense for us and our understanding. And so he asked the man if he saw anything, and he looked up and said, I see men like trees walking. Then he put his hands on him, on his eyes again, and made him look up, and he was restored and saw everything clearly. And so with that was, here Jesus is taking him out of the town, taking him away from all the people, and he heals the man. And so in that, Jesus, when he separated me from being around my sisters as much, it wasn't that there was a problem with my sisters or anything like that. Jesus wanted to do something with me. He had something he wanted to say to me, and he wanted to change me. And I was so occupied where I was always with them that I wanted the Lord to heal me, but I didn't want to change my activities. I didn't really want to set too much time aside to be with the Lord. I mean, I loved him, but I still wanted it to, I don't know, just have fun. And not that there's anything wrong with having fun, but I don't know, I just wanted to have my own time schedule. Jesus, you can get in right here. You can get in here. While I'm here, don't take me somewhere else. You know, I had little boxes that I put him in that he could operate in. Anything outside of those boxes I had created, I just wasn't really willing to follow him. So he forced me to be by myself. So at this point, okay, what do? I have nowhere to go, have nowhere to turn to. He just kind of shut everything down on me. But I can say, as much as I was not willing to take a step to the side with Jesus, it was then that my relationship with Jesus reached its highest point of growth. I got to know the Lord on a more intimate level. I got to get personal with the Lord. And he began to show some things to me about myself, and it's like he put a mirror in front of me, allowed me to see myself, allowed me to see the steps I was walking into was actually set up for my destruction. Even though they seemed innocent, they weren't innocent. The enemy had a plan to try to destroy me. And also in that, for the first time in my life, I actually got to understand myself. I got used to who I was. God was revealing more of me to me. And he started revealing more of his purpose and his plan for my life. So much took place in that time of him taking me to the side. I got confidence. I became more sure of who I was in the Lord. And honestly, I changed so much. And I don't believe that I would be even as close with the Lord as I am now if he didn't take me to the side then. If he didn't separate me from everything and everything else and put my sole attention focused on him. And now I'm not that same kind of a person that has to always be, my sisters will always be with somebody. I like hanging out and kicking with people, but I also like to be alone. And I love having my personal time with Jesus. I love being alone with the Lord. I love having him reveal to me who he is and also show me more of who I am. So in this, he healed the man. And him taking me to the side, he healed me. He delivered me. He set me free. And he told the man, he sent him away to his house. And he said, neither go into the town nor tell anyone in the town. And so the man went on his way. What I thought was deep about that was this may not happen every time. But the other man, he left the multitude and was able to go back to the multitude. This man left the town, and Jesus told him not to go back to that town and don't tell anyone in the town what Jesus did for him. And sometimes Jesus is trying to separate us from some things because we don't need to be involved in those things. Like in my situation, there were some things that Jesus told me not to go back to. Some things he told me not to participate in no more. And he revealed to me why he didn't want me to do it. And why I needed to listen. And thank the Lord, I did actually listen when he said that. But I just want to stress, don't miss your breakthrough. Don't delay your purpose because you want to go back to living life under your own comfort and just doing your own thing. Trust in the Lord. Trust in the Lord's plan. He created you. He has a perfect will for your life. Anything the Lord's telling you to do is for your good. He's not trying to set you up for destruction. It's not that he just doesn't care about you. He doesn't want you to have fun. The Lord, he wants you to have a good time in this life. But he also doesn't want you to be harmed or destroyed because in something that's not necessarily bad. It's not a bad thing, but what the enemy is trying to do to you in it is bad. And you can't see that with your natural eye, so he's revealing it to you. He's telling you not to do it, not to go there. Separate yourself. Don't go back to these places. Don't do this. Don't do that any longer. It's for your own good. And so, but actually, hopefully that encourages you to step to the side with Jesus. Don't be afraid to go to the side when the Lord tells you to go to the side. It can be life-changing. For me, it was life-changing. And what I thought was really funny was next, when you can continue to read in the chapter, Jesus asked his disciples, who did the people say that he was? And some said he was John the Baptist, and some say he's Elijah, and others say one of the other prophets. But then he said, who do you say that I am? And Peter said, you are the Christ. But then he began to tell them that the Son of Man must suffer many things and be rejected by the elders and chief priests and scribes and be killed, and after 3 days rise again. He said he spoke this word openly, and Peter took him aside and he rebuked him. So what was really funny to me is because back to back, here it is, Jesus took two men to the side. Now here Peter is taking Jesus to the side and rebuking him because he couldn't see the Lord's plan and what Jesus said he was going to do. And so Jesus tells Peter, get behind me, Satan, for you're not mindful of the things of God, but the things of men. Which really supports what the Lord had been showing me is that we don't see the Lord's plan. We can't see his vision. We can only see from man's perspective and not God's. Peter didn't realize that Jesus had to die. He gave his life so that in him we can have life eternally. He gave his life so the world could be reconciled to the Father through him. But in his own mindset, he just couldn't see that. You dying? No. What? You tripping. And Jesus went on to say that whoever desires to come after me, let him deny himself and take up his cross and follow me. And when it comes to following Jesus, we must follow the Lord. We have to deny ourselves, deny what we think, because we don't see, we don't have the Lord's understanding. We have to allow him to speak to us and through us and see from his perception. You don't miss out on what the Lord God has for you because it doesn't make sense to you. Trust in the Lord. Whatever he's requiring of you, if he tells you to step to the side with Jesus. Don't be afraid to follow the Lord. Because you never know what you're going to miss out on because it doesn't make sense to you. Or because it's out of your comfort zone and it's not what you want to do or what you want to happen. All right? Trust in the Lord, y'all. God bless.